Hello and welcome. Today we'll be discussing traditional Chinese medicine's 5-element theory. Traditional Chinese medicine's 5-element framework is ancient and universal in what it embodies. And the 5 elements are deeply woven into the fabric of Chinese culture. In fact, 5-element theory is the foundation of Chinese disciplines such as Feng Shui, martial arts, and Chinese medicine, of course. The elements express the dynamic balance of opposites and the processes of unfolding events and change in nature and life. The 5 elements are a comprehensive template that organizes all natural phenomena into 5 master groups of patterns in nature. Each of the 5 groups, which are wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, include categories such as season, direction, climate, stages of growth and development, internal organs, body tissues, emotions, aspects of the soul, taste, color, sounds, and the categories are seemingly limitless. The 5 elements reflect a deep understanding of natural law and the universal order underlying all things in our world. It provides a master blueprint that diagrams how nature interacts with the body and how different dimensions of our being impact each other. Now, when studying the 5-element framework, it's important to emphasize that this multidimensional view of life offers a diagnostic framework to recognize where imbalances on the level of body, mind, emotions, and spirit may lie. Now, the 5 elements is a theory of connection and interaction. What does this 5-element theory tell us about the world we live in? And first, it speaks about how all things are connected. Ancient Taoists identified 5 fundamental energies in motion in energy. And there's a dynamic between them, and they are not static. So when we look at this diagram, let's start with wood. The ancient Taoists could feel that the wood energy was an energy that was going upwards. So it's a moving energy and an energy moving upward that is linked with the season of spring. So when you imagine a little seed under the ground, just pushing up through the earth to find the light. Now you can imagine that this energy needed to grow and push up through the earth straight up to the light, that this is a very strong upwards energy, and this is the energy of wood. And then after that comes the energy of fire. Now, without wood, there would be no fire. And the fire energy is an energy that is also very much a warm, rising energy, and it's also a scattering energy. So when you think of maybe the campfire, when you look at the fire goes up and is hot, but also goes out. So it's a dispersing energy. So after fire comes the element of the earth. And the earth it's a holding and nurturing energy. So the earth energy is a holding energy. It's not static, but it's quite still. And the earth energy, so the fire energy is linked to the summertime, and the earth energy is linked to the harvest time. So that is late summer, beginning of autumn. After the earth comes the metal element. Now, when we put a lot of pressure on the earth, metal and gems and ores are created under the huge pressure of earth. So the energy of metal is a contracting energy. And you can also see in nature during autumn, you can also see that the plants are contracting, pulling back their energy. And this is why the leaves are falling. So the metal element has the quality of autumn. And then after autumn comes winter, and winter is linked to the water element. And the water element is fluid. And what we see with water is water, it will always sink down to the lowest point. And during winter, when everything is cold and covered with snow and ice, under the snow and the ice, we will always have water that still flows. So water has a flowing quality to it. And metal creates water in the sense that metal nourishes water. So the minerals from the minerals will activate water and make it alive. And then we come back to our first element, which is wood. And water will nourish wood so that wood can grow. So let's go over this cycle. So we have wood, and wood will nourish fire. Fire nourishes earth. Earth nourishes metal. Metal nourishes water, and water nourishes wood. And this goes on and on and on, this cycle of these 5 elements. So we have wood is linked to spring. After spring comes summer, the fire element. After summer comes the harvest time, which is the earth element. After the harvest time, we have autumn, which is the metal element. After autumn, we have winter time, which is water element. And then after the winter, we have spring again. So here you can see that these elements create and they constantly interact with each other. And each element is said to generate and give rise to another element. And this is called the generating sequence. And within the structure of the 5 elements, there are 2 fundamental relationships: generation, which we just discussed, and support. Without the balancing nature of these 2, things would fall apart in a flash. Because when we only would have a generating circle, we generate, and things would spin out of control. So this is why that we need a supporting cycle or system as well. Support in terms of the 5 element represents actually a relationship that acts as a restraining energy or force, making sure that things do not grow too quickly or spin out of balance. So neither too strong, neither too weak. So this is called the supporting sequence. So what happens? When we start again with wood, the wood can penetrate earth. So if you think of the roots of a tree penetrate the earth and just tear it open again. So this is how wood would balance out earth or would control earth. And earth will balance out water or control water. So we need the banks of the river will contain the water so that we have, we can get a really strong flowing river. When earth would not contain water, water would just spread out and in thin air. And water controls fire. We all know that water can kill fire. And fire melts metal, so controls the metal. And the metal chops down the wood. So this is how the controlling or supporting cycle is created. And these 2 together, so we have the generating sequence and the supporting sequence. These 2 together, they make that we have balance in nature and in the universe. So the 5 elements show us how we are connected to our environment and the natural world, and how the structures and systems in our bodies are connected to each other, how our world is part of a greater universe, and everything within each element is related. Now let's take a deeper look at each element. So wood is related to the spring, and in spring we recognize the wood element all around us. It's an explosive energy that without hesitation points upward, straight up. Everything buds and begins to grow. So the season is spring, the direction would be east, the color green, the environment would be windy, the taste is sour, emotion would be anger, the linked organs are liver and gallbladder, and the sense organ expresses through the eyes. So that is the wood element. Now let's go to the fire element. In nature, everyone knows that the sun makes everything bloom and ripen, and the warm glow of a fireplace with dancing and laughing people around it brings joy to life. And that is the quality of the fire element. And the season would be summer. Direction is south. The color is red. The taste is bitter. The emotion is joy. Oh, I forgot the environment. The environment is hot, of course. The emotion is joy. And the linked organs are the heart and the small intestines. And the fire element expresses itself in the tongue. Let's go to the earth element. And the earth element is the most central element of the 5. And it's the only element that has the capacity or the ability to nourish itself and the other elements. So as the expression Mother Earth says, a mother who holds, feeds, and cares for all. And the season for the earth season is the late summer, so harvest time. And the direction is center or in the middle. The color is yellow. The environment is damp. The taste would be sweet. The emotion, worry. The linked organs, the related organs would be spleen and stomach. And the sense organ is the mouth. And earth creates metal. And the metal elements, when we look at the minerals and the ores, make the earth and the water rich and nutritious. And the season of the metal element is the fall. Direction would be west, color would be white, environment is dry, taste is pungent, the emotion would be grief, the linked organs are the lungs and the large intestine, and the metal element expresses itself in the nose. And our last element is the water element. And as I already said, that during winter, nature sleeps and the earth is covered with a layer of snow and all life has withdrawn deep into the earth. But deep inside, water always will continue to flow. And this is the season of the winter. And the direction is north, the color would be black. Our environmental quality is cold, taste salty, the fear is the emotion. The organs linked to the water element are the kidneys and the bladder, and they express themselves in the ears. So here we see that within each element, all things share a deep, sometimes invisible connection to each other. And still there is a logic in this system. So this principle of interconnectedness also applies to different physical aspects of our bodies. So let's go deeper into what that means for our health. Now, the wood element expresses our liver and gallbladder health. So the liver is the organ that is most affected by excess stress and emotions. And the liver is responsible for smooth flow of our emotions, as well as qi and blood. The organ health is expressed in the eyes and the tendons, and the associated taste is sour. Now, fire is expressed in the heart and the small intestine health. And true cardiovascular health is not just about physical fitness. It's about deep contentment with one's life and destiny. So stress or lack of self-expression can directly impact this organ's function. So the heart is the king of all organs. And this means that all the other organs will sacrifice for the heart. So partner is the small intestine. Perspiration is the fluid of the heart. The tongue is the sense organ, and the blood vessels are the tissue of the heart. And bitter is the taste associated with the heart element. Earth element stands for spleen and stomach health. Chronic stress, worry, and anxiety can damage stomach function very quickly. Without the proper functioning of the stomach and its partner organ, the spleen, you can easily begin to suffer from digestive health and low metabolism function. So the stomach is responsible not only for digesting food and drinks, but also for digesting your emotions and thoughts, keeping what nurtures your spirit and letting go of what doesn't. So the mouth is the sense organ, the muscles are the tissue, the taste that corresponds to the support of the stomach is sweet. Lungs and large intestine health are linked to the metal element. And here, too much sadness and grieving can harm the lung and its partner, the large intestine. So letting go is a healthy way of stimulating your lungs' function. The lungs' major functions include maintaining healthy immune defense against pathogens, as well as circulating qi and fluids throughout the body. The sense organ is the nose, the tissue is the skin, and the taste is spicy. And the water element expresses itself in kidney and bladder health. The kidney is the reserve energy generator in the body, supplying extra qi to all the organs when necessary. So, and the corresponding emotion of fear can be a red flag that these powerhouses of the body are themselves low on qi and working too hard. So as said, the kidney stores the prenatal energy. It expresses in the ears, is linked to the bones, and the taste is salty. Now, do emotions cause disease, is the question. And Chinese medicine says yes. Emotions are movements of qi, and each emotion increases exceedingly a particular quality and activity of qi in a human body. So during the classical era of all the movements of qi were analyzed, characterized, and classified through the theory of yin and yang and the 5 elements. Emotions are considered in Chinese medicine as the main cause of illness and of weakness leading to diseases. If the emotions are in accordance with the natural order, and if the reactions are appropriate, then one governs oneself appropriately and there's no disorder. Emotions are expressions of qi in the organs. Each of the 5 organs is therefore related to an emotion that is fundamentally the expression of the movement of qi belonging to that same element. Coming from the depth of the organ, this qi influences everything under its control within the human being, in the physiology and the psychology, in the working of the body as well as in the working of the mind. This is why it's so important to have a good awareness of our own emotional state. Here is a classification of the emotions, and these are the positive qualities classified per element. So here we look at the wood element is linked to kindness, patience, generosity, forgiveness, flexibility, and decisiveness. The fire element is linked to joy, enthusiasm, peace, respect, being able to give and receive unconditional love and compassion. The earth element is linked to self-confidence, confidence, emotional stability, grounding, and harmony. Metal element is linked to courage, openness, positivity, justice, sportiness, social skills, and communication. Water element is linked to creativity, willpower, perseverance, meekness, and self-discipline. Now let's take a look at the negative qualities of the emotions. In the wood element, that would be aggression, irritation, anger, arrogance, dominance, impatience, and indecision. For the fire element, that would be sadness from the heart, hatred, resentment, inability to give or receive love, and agitation. An imbalanced earth element expresses itself in worrying, skepticism, lack of self-confidence, low self-esteem, and mistrust. Metal element shows this depression, melancholy, grieving, guilt, poor me, and victim role. And an unbalance in the water element shows us anxiety, depression, suicidal tendencies, phobias, and lack of willpower. Ancient Taoists have left us powerful teachings and exercises on how to regulate our emotions. And this is why in our daily Qigong practice, we practice the healing sounds and the inner smile. Now you understand why traditional Chinese medicine is referred to as the medicine of systematic correspondences. And hopefully you are beginning to grasp the idea that as in modern quantum science, as well as in the teachings of Chinese medicine, it is said that everything is energy. Everything that makes up a human being, mind, emotions, body, and spirit, correlates at an energetic level to something external in nature. We can use the vibrational frequency of nature and these principles of natural law to heal and balance our bodies and emotions. And personally, to me, I find it very comforting that spring will always follow winter. There is no other way than the order of nature.